Hello everyone, welcome back to Streed's Guide to Fraggle Rock. Today I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 23, Boober's Quiet Day. This episode starts out with Doc telling Schimmelfinny that he's taken Sprocket to the vet, showing clear signs that he's lonesome without Sprocky. Meanwhile, in Boober's cave, he's enjoying a nice tranquil morning as he slips off into dreamland until someone familiar materializes.
I'm the fun side of Boober and you keep me on the bottom. Side bottom, at your service. I don't want you at my service. I just want a nice quiet day. Go on! I'm sick of quiet days and so are you. What we want is some real knock-around, dance-em-up fun and shenanigans. I hate that. Oh, come on, you love it.
Suddenly, Boober feels shaken and he's woken up by Tosh. By the way, Tosh was voiced by Trish Leeper, who actually performs Mogorg's body. She's voiced a few bit parts here and there, but regardless, she's a talent to the show that rarely gets any recognition. Special thanks to Colum Arter for pointing this out. Tosh tells Boober that the old gypsy lady is returning to the rock and asks if he could babysit her pet beast. Boober says he has to go on a trip later, so Tosh leaves and Boober's disappointed in himself for lying. Suddenly, Sidebottom appears, saying he was responsible for the lies. Loki then arrives and asks where Boober's off to. He lies again and claims he's heading to the Lilac Cavern. Loki asks if he could pick up some dreidel nests while he's out, to which he reluctantly agrees. Suddenly, Boober spots the storyteller and hides Sidebottom.
Morning.
Who are you talking to just now?
Who, me? Nobody. I was just, I was composing aloud. I'm writing a book.
Oh, what's it about?
Dreams.
Oh,
Dreams. Whew, nightmares, actually.
I'd love to read it, Boober.
Well, good, fine. And speaking of ink, do you have any dreidel nests that I could make ink from?
Sure, come with me.
That was close.
Boober returns and Red catches him, asking if she could borrow his cave for the night. Lying once again, he tells her that he's already loaned the cave to the old gypsy lady. Some time passes and Boober's drained from all the lying. Yet again, suddenly, Gobo and Wimbley arrive looking for Boober and exposits that they're holding a surprise party for the old gypsy lady, much to the dismay of Boober. We return to the workshop and Doc's still quite morose without Sprocket. Poor guy. Meanwhile, Boober's fed up with Sidebottom's bullshit, saying he can't pretend to be the old gypsy lady.
This is terrible! What have you done? Actually, Boober, it's quite an attractive disguise.
I don't give out this compliment often, but Sidebottom's right. Boober looks great in drag. Loki comes back and talks with the gypsy Boober. Gobo arrives and treats the faux gypsy with a postcard from Uncle Matt. Matt somehow finds himself in someone's house and observes the silly creatures using napkins, thinking they're kissing the cloth. He tries it himself, but doesn't see the appeal. The two leave, and Boober's frustrated by everything, reacting in a similar way I did after finishing Breathless.
That's better. Now relax. Right.
Some time passes, and Boober gives Moki the dreidel nests. He returns to his cave and feigns enjoyment of the lying. Tosh returns once again and brings her pet beast since Boober's back. Later, he disguises himself as the gypsy and calms the beast. The caves are seemingly vacant, so Boober attempts to sneak away until he's surprised by the others. He reads Moki's tale and sings a hilariously dramatic gypsy song that fits him to the very core.
You look at me and think that gypsy is free. To dance and sing, be anything she choose. It's not that way, I've had to pay. The more you get, the more you seem to lose. I snip the rose, it quickly goes. I taste the rain, it's gone again. I kiss the friend, who leaves me then? I'm all alone again.
Suddenly, the real gypsy, who somehow looks exactly like Gypsy Boober, arrives and the jig is up, with Boober telling the others everything. They understand, and Boober talks with Sidebottom. I must point out that in this scene, Sidebottom says if they cooperated more, they could have both had fun without the lying, which is sort of offhandedly blaming Boober for keeping Sidebottom repressed when he has every right to. It was Sidebottom who was manipulating Boober into lying to his friends. Yes, Boober played along, but Sidebottom isn't exactly blameless here, and it's silly to think he is. If anything, this adds to Boober's case that Sidebottom is destructive and should seldom be let out. This is especially proven in his last appearance, Sidebottom Blues. Anyways, Boober's left alone, and he finally gets the nice quiet day he's yearned for. Until he's chased by Beastie. We return to the workshop, and Doc's miserable until he finally gets a call from Sprocket.
Hello, Sprocket. I'll be over in a little while to pick you up. How are you? It's been such a quiet day.
Out of the 3 Sidebottom episodes, this one's probably my least favorite. Not an entry I dislike at all, but it is an admittedly weaker one. This is probably the closest to a controversial episode since the term gypsy is thrown around, which is a word that's seen as offensive by some but not others. In my eyes, if you're really going to get offended by a word as harmless as that,
Get alive!
Boober's also not at his most likable here, although it's much more understandable considering he's being manipulated by Sidebottom to cause all this chaos for the fuck of it. Move over, Bill Cipher. As for what I liked, despite this episode having only one song, it's a damn good one. I Sniff the Rose has pretty tragic lyrics, but it's a fun and delightfully dramatic song that matches Boober's personality seamlessly. As for my criticisms, the lesson here is pretty basic and conveyed in a basic and predictable fashion. This episode is probably one of my least favorite subplots as well. It's really sad seeing Doc all alone missing Sprocket. It doesn't really correlate with the episode's message, aside from it tangentially involving a nice quiet day. The subplot should have had something to do with either Doc or Sprocket lying until it gets out of control and they make amends at the end. Now that would have been far more thematically fitting. This is just needlessly depressing. Also, Boober resembling the real gypsy is so painfully contrived. It brings into question whether Sidebottom knew what she looked like or not. I've tried to wrap my head around it when the likely answer is just poor writing. This would have worked exactly the same way even if Boober looked like a completely different gypsy lady. I also felt that Boober barely faced any punishment for all the lying. When he's eventually found out, everyone just automatically forgives him and leaves. Now, I want to clarify, I despise the liar reveal trope, but they should have at least verbally reprimanded him for being such a prick. Red was tormented by nearly the entire cast for simply trying to tell everyone of the lily creature's existence. Yet Boober lies, offends the real gypsy lady, and he's let off with a tepid slap on the wrist. Overall, this was a very flawed but fun casual watch. It's an episode I turn on occasionally to watch the dust settle. I'm going to give this one a relatively harmless mushroom. Well guys, that was the review, and I will see you all next time.